What up, Moist Nation? Welcome to MicMe TV. I am your host, Jimmy, episode 4 of the MicMe TV show. How's it going, everybody? We got a nice show for you today. It's going to be a little bit more unscripted, no main segments. I'm here chilling with my boys. Say what's up to the people.
You gotta tell them my full name, my government name.
I'll cut it out. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'll bleep that out. What I wanted to talk about was what happened on the way over here. I had a run-in with a deer. I was thinking about how I was gonna title this episode, and I think I'm gonna do Final Deer-stination, like Final Destination, but it's deer, because this is not a one-off, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's some curse going on in my family where it's like, you know how some people will, when they're 7 or 8 years old, they'll start getting these these feelings where it's like, I'm gonna die one day in a car crash. They'll get these weird flashes. Have you heard of that?
Premonition.
Premonition, right? A premonition. My premonition, I'm gonna get a giant fucking antler through the throat, put a head-on collision with a buck going to Saskatchewan. I don't even know where that is. Is that in Canada?
Canada.
Yeah, Canada. But yeah, so these damn deer, bro. So there's 4 times in my life that are that stand out. But Kitty's about to do something.
I know.
Has 5 cats in this house, and 3 of them are his, 2 of them are his girlfriends, and they've been trying to live together. They're trying to be roommates, and it's not working out. This cat's already peed today. Kind of near all my stuff. Yeah, she peed on where I sleep.
Right.
Which is saying something. Anyways, so the 4 times that I almost died from deer. Let's go through these. So there's this one time I'm driving on the highway, and it's the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. And I'm in Michigan, and it was a little icy. So you're slipping and sliding when you jam on the brakes, right? And I think I told you the story. It was the group of 3 deer that ran across. So it's a left bend, and it's a highway, so I'm going 75, 80. These 3 deer shoot across me from the right to left. I swerve to the right, and the first 2 passing me make it, and I'm trying to go in between the second and the third, because I couldn't slam on my brakes, and I couldn't get past them to the left, so I had to go in between them. I clipped the 3rd one coming with my mirror, that right side mirror, and it took it clean off.
Oh,
remember that?
Yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah. You remember that?
You were coming to my house.
Was I coming to your house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I was...
Yeah, every time you come here, you almost get killed by a deer.
Bro, I got to tell the pothole story, too.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy. So he went inch for inch for me along the road in the cornfield for a good 50 yards, and then it jumped on the hood of my car and slid across. You remember that? Bro, I was driving to play golf with my dad, right? And I'm 10 minutes from the golf course, and I see this deer out of my peripheral vision on my left side in this field. And the second I see it, he's like, bro, it's on. It's it's a race now. So he starts legging it. And I'm like, damn, do I speed up? Do I slow down? Because no matter what I do, this deer is matching my speed. So I kind of speed up, but then I slow down, and I'm just all right, let's minimize this contact. So by the time he's getting close to me, if I'm going straight like this, he's left catching up to me. I end up going 20 miles per hour. He jumps onto my hood and slides across, lands on his feet, and keeps running. It was some Mission Impossible bullshit. You can even ask my dad. When we go play golf, I called him right after it happened. I told him word for word everything that happened. That's crazy. So I'm gonna die from a deer one day is basically the moral of the story. I was posting this. I was talking to my mom about the nature of posting content. And so if you look at my old videos, it's very curated, very oh, this is clickbait, BS. I'm trying to make something real that's also somewhat curated. I want to have segments where I do deep dives, but I also want to be myself. So
he's an OG of the clickbait.
I am, dude. I was clickbait before TikTok even launched,
true.
Which is kind of cool.
He was getting all of his subscribers. They all thought it was real.
Bro, if I didn't hit this weird ass fucking depressive spiral for the past 5 years of my life, and I just kept making TikTok arcade videos, I could be the arcade Mr. Beast right now.
Really? He was a big arcade game guy now.
Is he?
No, who?
Oh, I just meant like the who are the big ones? Well, I was
Yeah.
recording back in the day with like Claw Craziness. I was Claw
They still
Kicker,
go?
Carson Claws. They're all still around. Claw Craziness and Claw Kicker, they both have over 1 million subs.
How many views do they get?
Tons.
Really?
Yeah. Carson, he's more transitioned to, he does Ticket Time now. Shout out Ticket Time. Ticket Time is an awesome, awesome channel where they do cool gambling content, like online gambling. And so he like moved from more of the arcade stuff to like grown up arcade games. But so I'm talking to my mom about the nature of content and all that, and she's like, and I'm like, so I'm struggling with this whole, how much do I want to reveal? How much do I want to show about myself? Because, you know, our whole upbringing, we're taught like, oh, everything you post online, you know, your job will like care about, and they won't hire you because of it. And it's like, I vehemently disagree with that now, because it's like the biggest people on Netflix, the biggest people in pop culture, they're saying the wildest shit. They really are. And I'm not trying to emulate that. I'm just saying that.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say I want to be myself. And so I'm not going to like sugarcoat anything or not say or be who I am because I'm too like afraid of some reaction, you know? Because I think that's when you become vanilla, and that's when you become like, you know, just fake. And I think that's the.
Right now.
Huh?
You're calling me out right now.
No, I'm not calling you out at all. It's like my role models used to be the Mr. Beast type, and now it's transitioned into like people who I really think are just like real, like regardless of what you think about, like Theo Von or something, or like Tim Dillon. Like those are guys who I really look up to, because they're talking about things that matter, but they're also being themselves and they're being real and they're not afraid what other people think, you know. So I'm trying to do that while I'm also trying to write some books, graduate story school, see where things go. So if
if all else fails, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna come live on the couch,
No.
and Kitty's gonna pee on me.
Yeah, that's why. You need to have cat food too.
Yeah, I need cat food too. I got a cat, everybody. You know Mr. Butters. I'm worried about Mr. Butters at the moment. I'm very worried about Mr. Butters. I feel like Mr. Butters is gonna hate me by the time I get back. He's gonna be alone for 10 days. I got a buddy of mine from the Wichita State writing program who's gonna come over and feed him and stuff. Great dude. It's gonna keep the cat very, very good company, but you know, I'm just afraid. He's sleeping alone at night. Yeah, he's only 9 months old. He's a kitten. I adopted him, like a month and a half ago? Probably just over that. Something like that. I adopted him like right when I launched the show. Kind of near that. I don't know if he was the the positive energy I needed to really like launch off, but definitely part of it. He definitely helped. Just having something around like that's dependent on you to get your ass up and moving every day. It's like, I don't know. If you're out there and you have problems with self-valuation, just take on a bunch of responsibilities that require you to value yourself for other things to live.
That is a good way to mature.
It really is. And it's like, you can start with fish, you can start with anything, but it's like if you bed rot for 3 days, the fish are dead. You know what I mean? If you don't get up and like feed your cat or whatever, and it sounds like a small thing, but it's just getting up and like going through the process of like starting your day. You feed that cat, and you're like, damn, I should do something to take care of myself too. You know?
That's true.
And it's always getting on me. I got a dirty ass apartment. Filthy.
Embarrassing.
It is.
The only time he has cleaned it in the past 6 months is when his dad came to stay over.
Hey, but before that, first 6 months, that apartment was like literally spotless. My parents would call at random times. I'd be like, "Yo, you want FaceTime?" And I'd show them my apartment. They'd be like, "Damn!"
Yeah,
like
quit.
That's how. So my parents, they love me. They do, but it's like they'll be more proud of me for like a clean, put together room and me wearing like a golf shirt and khakis and, you know, being respectable at the school than they would if I like sold this pod, or that crypto thing is a good example. If I would have, well, no, if I would have sold the crypto, my dad probably would have loved me. He was telling me to sell the whole time. He was so right about that, bro. He was so right, and I was just young and dumb. Agent X and I were involved in a crypto scheme. I don't know how deep we should go on this. This deserves a whole episode where I could go in on the weeds on this, but Mr. X and I made a bet that this Luna would become more scarce over time as more UST was minted and more people entered this Terra ecosystem. And Do Kwon royally fucked us. He did. And Sam Bankman-Fried. You can argue it both ways. If I'm trying to explain this as quickly as possible, Do Kwon, the leader of Terra Luna, bit off more than he could chew, basically creating this self-looping loan program called Anchor, where people could basically create leverage loops. And so there was, let's just say there was a lot of fake money that wasn't based on like actual value. So if there was ever a run on the bank, there wouldn't be the liquid amount of money that, you know, they say is there. And that gets super complicated and in the weeds, and there's a lot of like bullshit that went on with Anchor. But basically, there's a run on the bank at a certain day by a man named Sam Bankman-Fried, the leader of another crypto exchange, FTX, and FTX was found guilty of doing the same thing, creating fake money out of these like bullshit leverage loops. And that's why he's in jail right now. And also Do Kwon got extradited to America. They're both in jail, which is good. It makes us happy. Sam Bankman-Fried was like, I want to be top dog, FTX. And which is funny, he was one of the largest donors to Biden's campaign. Do you know that?
No, I knew that.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And so Sam Bankman-Fried wanted to take down Do Kwon. He did successfully, and I think he was able to do so because of Do Kwon's what's the word? It's when you're like cocky. There's a good word for it.
Hubris.
Hubris. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. This boy, he should go to story school. Flexing.
I know some words. I've read a few books.
Do you want to show the camera all the books I've bought you over the years that you haven't read? Let's
the camera all the books you get half of.
Yeah, well, they see them every other video I post.
You've never read a full one of those.
I've never read a book in my life.
Not a full book.
Never, not a full book. Never.
Never.
Not once. Not even the Bible.
I read a lot of the Bible.
I know you have, you little Catholic school boy.
That's right.
Good boy.
That's right.
So why don't you grab this? We have Herman Hesse, Steppenwolf. We have Annihilation. We have Ask the Dust. We have, what's that other short one? On the Road, or Smoke Me When I Die.
Oh no, Smoke Me, Pull Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die.
Right, a Willie Nelson autobiography.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite books I've gotten him. I've gotten him White Noise by Don DeLillo or Don DeLillo.
Great when the world.
A libertarian. Well, you're a libertarian who still likes public roads. You know, you want your roads to not have potholes, but you also don't want to pay taxes.
Well, I feel like.
But you'd pay local taxes. So.
Yeah, I wish my money would go more towards my local government than federally.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally. I agree with that. But so the root of that was, gosh, we were talking about something. What the fuck were we talking about? And then I got into anarchy. Yeah, I don't really remember. We were getting into something interesting, I thought. We were talking about crypto. Do Kwon extradited, Sam Bankman-Fried arrested. Do Kwon's from Singapore, that's why I don't know if he was.
Korean.
Yeah, he's from Korean, but from Korean. Let's get back on track. Let's talk about. So we covered a little bit of crypto. We covered Deer. Talked a little bit about being a GTA, Wichita State. Talked a little bit about being a writer, I guess. Talked a little bit about what I want to do in the future. Where would you want to go? Where would you want to sail? If you could start, let's say you start at New York City.
Honestly, I'd probably love to do like Chile.
You know, I've been a man of the people for the first, 30 minutes of this episode. And after this, it's going to be a hell of a time.
I know.
Mr. X and I. Fuck. I'm gonna have to go through this. bleep it all out. So I guess let's talk more about the nature of you know, online presence, being yourself. How like, so I guess everybody has some experience with this, right? I'm guessing most people are on social media. And so with that in mind, most people experience some sort of disconnect between a virtual projection of self and like an actual, version of their self on the inside. So what I think is interesting is like trying to bridge that gap. And that's kind of what's been killing me over the past couple of years, where I've been very, very convinced that engaging in any sort of media or social media or just like doing this, it's taking me away from my true self, because it's like encouraging me to create a character or a projection or something that isn't real to me. And something that I've like as I grow older, I tend to believe more and more in the power of like self and self-actualization. And so I'm really trying to believe that I can make this what I want it to be rather than it making me, And so I think it leads to a lot to reflect about, especially with my past videos and past, you could say, career as like a YouTuber or whatever. When I first started making YouTube videos, they were like, I think I made like a magic card video, and then I made like a basketball video, and I was basically just searching for eyeballs. There wasn't like a piece of content that I wanted to cover that was super important to me. And where I used to be a claw machine creator, and I was never, like, if I'm being honest to you guys, I was never passionate about arcades.
You weren't passionate about the clickbait?
I
I thought that was your true passion.
I was passionate about my desperate need for validation that I haven't outgrown. And that's why I'm still here doing this. But I'm doing it in a different way, hopefully, where I'm doing it in an authentic way where I can connect with people who I really connect with. I'm sure all you guys are familiar with that, or not all you guys, but probably if you're watching this video, you're familiar with my 15 million view video where I put the iPhone 7 that was actually an iPhone 6 in a coin pusher that was owned by a friend of mine. And that is, quote unquote, the most successful moment of my life because it generated the most money, like real dollars that I've ever done. And it generated the most eyeballs on me. And so I think like at a very early age, I conflated this idea of success with projection. And so I wasn't chasing self-actualization or happiness or fulfillment. I was chasing this idea of what I thought that was. And what I thought that was eyeballs. And I still do to a certain extent, but I'm thinking about it in a far more nuanced way now, where before it was like, I'm going to make this clickbait video and not respect my viewers and not respect anybody who comes along. Because all these things were like self-serving at that point. It wasn't so much about what message was I spreading to the world. It was basically, how can I use the world to get to where I want to be? And I think that's an awful mindset to have. And I think like that mindset, what is, you getting the
beer bong.
Doing a beer bong?
For you.
I'm not doing a beer bong.
Yeah, Jimmy's doing a beer bong.
I'm not doing a beer bong. What do you mean I'm doing a beer bong? Dude, it's going to get everywhere if we do it here. And you know that.
Come on, man. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. With the headphones on and everything?
Yeah, why? You don't think I'll be able to do it?
No, I've never